What's up, guys? So the new patch update is here and I think you guys are gonna love it. It's gonna be a kind of a long video, so let's get right to it. All right, guys, so first let's start off with what Strange Matters themselves actually said here when they released the actual patch notes and everything. So first, they're stating that the quality of life for our players in game is their top priority, which I'm glad, like I was mentioning in the last video. With the Minion rework and even more of the FES issues resolved in patch 0.4.0, we can now focus on implementing new content like heroes, heads-up display, and the item art, which is exciting because we're all waiting on those. Now, they did mention we're currently testing the next 2 heroes to be released. We'll also be providing more information regarding them in the next few days. Also, we're aware of the game not being available on the Steam store. It's an internal issue that we're handling with Steam. It should be fixed in a couple days. We'll keep you fully updated. So apparently, people can't get this game right now because of some issue going on at Steam and they're trying to fix it. So hopefully that'll be fixed sooner rather than later. But immediately afterwards, or actually today, they mentioned that they decided that due to the delay of adding false next to heroes caused by the full restructure, like the Minion gameplay overhaul, which we'll be going over here in a second, they're going to be adding a 7th character to the first season pass. So instead of 6 total characters this season, we get 7. That's exciting. And then they show this little picture here, which I'll be honest with you, I have zero idea what that is. But let's get right into the actual patch notes themselves. Now, I got quite a bit of notes here, so we'll go through them quickly. Now, there was an EXP change. Now it takes 280 experience to get to level 2 instead of 90. Now, and that also increases 100 experience per level as you go up. Now, what that basically means is that the early game is going to be much more substantial. Now, it's not as easy to get to level 2. Even though you guys are going to see, like, there's certain things that they adjusted, like, you know, minions give you more gold, etc. But that means that those first 3 minutes in lane are going to be more crucial as far as decision making and getting to that level 2, having that advantage. Now, quite frankly, there could be, I don't know, like a 15-second gap or 20-second gap between you hitting level 2 and the enemy hitting level 2 if you farm properly. So those little quality of life changes early on, I love. All the experience sources have been rebalanced to accommodate the new system. Now, the quality of life changes in general and reward changes that I touched on briefly in the last video, this is essentially what they come down to here. Now, heroes on a higher kill streak are worth more. Heroes on a higher death streak are worth less. Assist gold is always 150, but that whenever it's a death streak, like somebody that's been dying a lot, that gets halved. So it's only 75 experience that gets shared amongst everybody in the area. Now, group kills grant hero experience as based on victim's hero level and is split equally amongst all the members that participated in the kill. So if 3 of you kill 1 person, how much you get is based off of the person that you killed level. So if they're a higher level than you guys, you're gonna get more. If they're a lower level than you guys, you're gonna get less, but it still is distributed there. Now, the killer gains 15% more experience each level they are below their victim. So if you kill something, like I said, if you kill somebody that's way above you, you're gonna gain significantly more. If you kill somebody that's below you, you're gonna kill significantly less. And that is going to stack based on the difference in levels, and there are caps, of course. Now, previously, it was only a 7% difference and there was no cap. Now there's a cap of 60%, but you can actually get quite a bit of a difference taken away from you there. Now, moving forward, basic attack projectile speed was increased by 20%. I love that. That's going to make it less of leading your shot and me being an ADC main. Those are quality of life changes that I love. Moving forward, the field of view, they decreased it slightly, tweaked a couple camera positions. They adjusted the hero acceleration and movement speed animation as well. Got increased on both of those. Now, this is a huge thing that everybody's going to have to get used to. Now, hero-based movement speed has been adjusted. It depends what class each hero is in. I'm gonna list them now, and this is in order from slowest to fastest. Range carries and burst casters move the slowest. Range casters and range supports move a little bit faster. Tanks and melee supports move a little bit faster. Bruisers move even faster, and the melee assassins and fighters move the fastest. Now, I can imagine the difference isn't going to be much. You might be looking at maybe like a 1%, 2% difference, but little things like that do make a difference as the game progresses. Now, what this means for me as a dual lane main, I'm seeing that tanks and melee supports such as Narbash and Steel are going to have a much higher movement speed than a range carry. So that is something to take advantage of, especially when you're relying on a lot of that getting a little bit closer in order to cast abilities, specifically on Steel. Now, there was a huge grab on lane minions. Moving forward here, the spawn from the beginning of the match has been increased, the minion amount, instead of 2 melee 2 range to 3 melee 3 range. Now, additional melee and range minions no longer spawn per wave. Melee and range minion health, damage, hero experience, and gold bounties had all been redistributed appropriately across a new amount of minions. Basically, just because there's a new amount of minions doesn't mean that you're going to be getting the exact same amount per all of them. They're distributing it out, making it a little bit more fair there, so you still get about the same amount of gold, EXP, and all that from the minions. Now, the percentage of max health dealt per shot as true damage from structures against minions has been increased, so now towers do more damage to minions, excuse me. Now, experience gain from lane minions increased to help reduce the time taken to level 18. So this is interesting. They're giving you more minions, they're redistributing it even amongst all, but they buff the experience that you get from it. So now that's a direct correlation to the fact that from level 1 to level 2, it takes more experience now. So you're going to see that having more minions and having them give a little bit more experience is just going to be helpful quality of life thing, but it's still going to take you arguably a little bit longer to get to level 2 than before, which is going to make the early laning phase that much more important. Now, Lave minions now have a new movement system. You know, they walk in a straight line, they walk more smoothly, they behave smoothly, none of this sporadic, hey, you know what, like this minion's just gonna make a random zigzag out of nowhere, stuff like that. And they're increasing the movement speed of minions every 90 seconds, and it maxes out at 25 minutes. So that's important to keep in mind whenever you're playing. At the 25-minute mark, your minions are at max movement speed. That's when you need to take advantage of shoving lanes and stuff like that the most. Now, they did adjust and buff super minions. Now, super minions are going to give armor, so 70% reduced damage from area of effect abilities. That's just the super minion itself. Now, they also buff the ally minions. It's going to grant 35 physical and energy armor to nearby allied minions, excluding other super minions. It doesn't stack. So as long as a super minion is there, the other smaller minions are tankier. Now, they now replace the siege minion in the wave instead of a melee minion, because we know super minions before were just a melee minion. Now, as well, they spawn in the front of the wave. So it's going to be replacing the siege minion, but it's going to be at the front of the wave as well. So it's still the first point of contact that takes the most damage. That's going to help prevent those super minions from stacking on themselves too much and stuff like that. Now, super minions now deal 85% more damage and 25%, I'm sorry, they deal 85% and 25% less damage respectively to towers. Depending on the tower they're hitting, they're going to do less damage. As well, 2 super minions will now spawn in each wave if all the inhibs are down, just in order basically to help secure the win. Now, that kind of worries me because the super minions are going to be much more powerful than before, but also simultaneously, it almost seems like it's less of a comeback mechanic once your inhibitors are down. It's more of a, hey, now you're really paying the price because your inhibitor came down. I'm interested to see how that's going to work with the crystals and people trying to come back from that. Now, jungle minion spawning got fixed. Instead of 120 seconds sorry, instead of 100 seconds, it's now at 120 seconds. So now they're actually going to be spawning properly there. Now raptors, this is fucking huge. Raptors is now only one large raptor, and it gives 50 gold to the killer. It gives 150 experience to anybody in the area helping kill the raptor, and it'll give 2 favor to every teammate, no matter if you're alive or dead. So none of this one individual snowballing with 3 favor. Now the entire team is getting 2 favor. So I don't know about you guys, but that arguably makes it even more important, and that arguably, I mean, it might be even more deathbally as far as favors go, because the entire team is getting 2, not just one individual. So we'll see how that goes. Now, of course, the health and damage and all that have been adjusted to the one raptor, so it goes up even more from there. LOL, I just got a follow notification in the middle of recording my YouTube video. But so another change that they made now, Prime Helix, they're now changing it so it's 800 global experience is granted to the team members. An additional 600 experience is shared amongst the people that killed it that are nearby. So you not only get an experience reward for killing Prime for being away, but you get even more if you're in the vicinity. Now they also did 300 global gold for each team member. Now this doesn't say if you have to be alive or dead, so I'm assuming that means you get the 300 gold regardless because your team killed Prime. Now we see that they're mentioning that they're working on lighting, trying to add clouds and fog. Eventually they want like clouds all over the sky moving and stuff like that, so that'll be cool. But in the meantime, they did mention that FPS is set to a maximum of 100 until further notice, because they're working on fixing their FPS stuttering. So if anything, they'll unlock it again as soon as they can guarantee a smooth frame rate at higher numbers. But it looks like they think that having the higher number unlimited FPS going on in there might actually be causing some of those instabilities. Now, besides that, there's general fixes. You guys can go see those. You know, like they fix some of the wall issues, ledges on dual lane, etc. Now, what we care about the most here, substitution, active range increased from 700 to 1500. That's huge for substitution. It's going to make it more viable as a support item or a general item to carry. As well, Titan Fist, active abilities, damage type change from energy damage to physical damage. So now Titan's Fist active ability doesn't do overtime energy, it does overtime physical, which is interesting because I'm seeing a trend of that as far as throughout the fact that too many people were getting a lot of energy damage and they weren't able to build as much energy armor because of all the energy damage that kept on stacking due to little items like this. So quality of life change there. Now this is huge. Magician mana regen got reduced from 0.5 to 0.25 per missing mana. So you're still gonna have decent mana, but that means that any mana regen build that was based around Magician, for example, my support mana regen build, just got nerfed to the ground. So I will be releasing a new support build that I already have set up for you guys here in the next upcoming days. Now moving forward, there was a huge Countess nerf. Her scaling got reduced, now has a recast delay on her shadow slip. So you can't just teleport there, teleport back immediately. There's a delay. Her scaling on her E got reduced and now has a recovery delay. So now after you cast it, you're vulnerable for like a split second there. And then her ultimate power scaling got reduced. So she got a total overall nerf. So it looks like in general, they're keeping the item system the way that it is right now. All the changes that they made as to increasing mage damage and everything, but they're just reducing the scaling of characters that needs so. For example, Gideon's Q energy power scaling got reduced, but base damage got reduced as well. The Void Breach, his right click scaling got reduced, and then base damage got increased. Interesting enough, like it got decreased early and increased later in the game. His ultimate, his base damage got increased and his power scaling got increased as well. So they increased his ult. That's not a bad thing. Narbash, the ridiculously long cooldown that it already was, on top of the fact that the actual hitbox got reduced. Now Narbash has an increased cooldown, which is rough. Moving forward here, now they balanced it a little bit. The base damage got increased as far as his right click. His shield crash, his R, his ultimate damage got increased, but the stun duration got reduced. That's something that was kind of necessary, and the amount that they reduced it was almost by half, which is not bad. I'm okay with that because he still has plenty of time to get behind them and push them forward or stun them, etc. And then twin blast grenades now have a delay in between each grenade. That's going to be huge to minimizing the damage output for twin blast, but you're going to see it's not going to be that detrimental. It's more of a quality of life change to make him a little bit more fair. If anything, guys, these are all the updates. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. If you guys like videos like this, please click that like button. If a viewer doesn't like the video, it gets shared less. That's basically how it works on YouTube. But as usual, until next time, peace.